What's up, guys? Hello, everyone. Hello. Just doing our normal routine, trying to make sure that the audio is actually in order and every other stuff is good to go. Yeah, welcome back, guys. To today being Tuesday, December 13th. We are still working on our app, our custom app, our flutter app called Fake Dona app. Basically, our fake to do app. So we have been doing this for the past 2 weeks right now. I think it's up to 2 weeks. Yeah, I think something like that. We have gone a long way to actually have some usable to do app that's actually working at the moment. So you can actually give someone people to use this and they can actually use it add their to-dos on Shake. So basically we have gone a long way to do a lot of stuff. Hoping that we continue doing that, adding more changes and more improvements this coming few days. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing right now. And the first changes we'll be adding today is how to delete a to-do. Yeah, we actually did how to add a to-do, how to edit a to-do. Currently this is how to add a to-do. I would say I would say this should be okay. Let's add a to-do which should be called World Cup today. Yeah, today is a World Cup match. Yeah, so these are to do. I'll go ahead and add this. So this to do will be added right here at the bottom because it's the last to do to be added, not the first. And kind of like goes in a first order way, whereby the first to do will be at the top, while the last the last to do to be added will be at the bottom. The first to do's will be at the top. Yeah, that's basically what we're having, and you can actually see the to do is being added. I can go ahead to edit the to do. Currently our to do not have a note added to it, so I can go ahead and add it to notes. I will say wash the match live on my screen. I'm actually a big football fan, and also been watching the World Cup lately. So yeah, we added this right in here. So I go ahead and save this. You can actually see that to do. If I open it up again, now it has a note added to it and also a title. And also over here you can decide to add a to do with a title and a note at the same time. This is how to do it. I will show you. I will say visit friends tomorrow. My spelling is actually bad. Yeah, tomorrow. And if I want to add a note to this to do, I'll just have a double slash and then comma. I will say visit my friend Danny. Is that his spelling? I'll just say Dan. Or no, let me say. Okay, I will say visit my friend. Okay, that didn't add here. Visit my friend Dan. My friend Dan tomorrow. What did I actually press on? I think something is wrong. Oh, I see. This is basically clearing the whole stuff that we are typing in inside our app. Oh, I see. Because we added this on, so I'll just uncomment that out. For those of you who have been with throughout this tutorial, you already know what this is doing. So once this is added, if you kind of like try to edit some stuff, it will just edit the whole last added sentences. So that's why I'm uncommenting it out at the moment. So if you go back, restart our app. In this case, this will not happen again. So I will say visit friend tomorrow. Yeah, And yeah, we can actually say, so we want to add the note at the same time, not just adding the title and later adding the note. So at the same time, we will say visit Dan at his home later today. And there we go. And if you go ahead and save this, so you have a title. This is our title, and this is our note for our to do. If I go ahead and save this, you can actually see that it's been added. The title is visit friend tomorrow, and if you open this, you can actually see our notes actually added. So the note says visit Dan at his home later today. Not today, it should be later tomorrow. But yeah, you guys already get what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's it. It's working fine, and everything is in and order. And also you can actually say that a to-do is now complete by checking it. If you check this means the to-do is complete, and unchecking it means the to-do is not complete and all those stuff. But we want to be able to delete a to-do. We haven't added that yet, and we haven't been able to do that, but I will show you guys how to do that. So one stuff I did add later on was basically dismissible widget. So in Flutter, that's what we call dismissible widget, whereby if you wrap your widget with a dismissible widget, so it kind of like looks, I'm repeating myself here, widget with a widget. So basically in Flutter everything is a widget, so that's what I'm saying. If you wrap your widget with a dismissible widget, yeah, that's correct. So if you wrap it to a dismissible widget, it will allow you to drag the other widget out of the screen. So dragging it off the screen will just remove it, meaning that widget has been removed or deleted. But in this case, you can actually see it's been removed, but it's not deleted. If I go ahead and restart the app, you will see you see it being back up again, because we didn't delete it, we just removed it. So this is how we are going to be deleting our to-dos. So this is how to-dos will be deleted. So I will just show you guys how to do that. So right away, what we are going to do is that when someone kind of like drags this to this end, we want to also delete the to-do from our database. If you guys remember, we're actually saving this in our own database, so we need to be able to delete it from our database. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm just trying to do some stuff by the side. Yeah, that's this. So let's go ahead and show you guys how to get the delete part to start working. This should be here within our app. So we have to go to the file that contains all our to-do, so that when we drag it, should basically delete itself. That should be somewhere. Wait a second. Okay, main view. I think okay, where do we actually add that? Is it inside our main view? Okay, yeah, we added it inside our main view. So we should be able to delete this to-do once we actually tap over there, right in here. So I'm going to say when this has been dismissed, confirm dismiss. So this function will actually confirm that this has been dismissed from the UI. We are just going to go dismiss it on dismissed. Okay, confirm dismiss. We actually confirm if this is already dismissed. We have on dismiss. So this function is called when the dismiss is actually done. So let's use this function. Let's listen to this function, callback function. It's actually a callback function from dismissible widget. So this is our dismissible widget from Flutter. I didn't create that. So that's definitely from flutter itself. But you can actually create yours using animation and gesture detector and some other stuff like transform widget and yeah, combination of different stuff to create yours. So we have on dismiss should have a function, and this function has a property, a parameter called direction we can actually use. And in here we want to log out the direction. I will say direction dot name. So just tell us the direction this is being dismissed. Let's listen to that. So I'm going to drag this and dismiss it. Yeah, so you actually see start to end. So the direction is basically start to end, and this is being called immediately. This has been dismissed, so that's working. Next stuff you want to do is to be able to delete this once immediately the user was able to dismiss it. So I'm going to do right in here, I'm going to say to do block basically will be delete to do, not update to do. That should be delete. Yeah, and delete needs a to do to be passed into it. It only requires one parameter, which is the to do that we want to delete. And okay, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and pass in it to do to delete right in there. But let's see that event that we are trying to fire, because this we are using event driven development here in our app, and in this case we are using block for that. Block library to do some block pattern stuff, which is event driven development pattern. So right in here, this is where our blocks are, which is contains our event for all the events within our app that we currently created so far. And inside here, the to do's has an event. One of the events is delete to do, which is this. It requires a to do to be passed to it only. So in that case, we have to pass in a to do to it. Let's solve that issue first. So that's inside our main view, because right now it's kind of like telling us there's an error. We already know what that is, so we need to pass in a to do to it right in here. There you go. So that's a to do passed in, and we want to make sure that whenever this is called, we actually listening to it. We kind of like had an issue right now. Looks like something happened. Okay, this render flex issues. Okay, I thought it's basically our logic issues or application issues, but okay, basically our layout issues that we're currently having. That's minor issue, we can actually fix that later on, but let's go ahead and fix this one, the delete to do. And I'm going to go inside our to do's block event, and then our to do's block right in here. So I want to listen to this event. So this event that we're going to be working with, we are going to, it's called delete to do map to do to state. And what I'm going to do is to go at the top over here, we are going to listen to that particular event called delete to do. Whenever there's this event, go ahead and call this function. Yeah, you're gonna need to do some fixing right here. So first of all, we have to listen to delete events, and next we have to have our emit events also. to help us emit events. So this should be async. We don't want to listen to a stream. We just want to have a future of void. He doesn't return any stuff, just future of void. That doesn't return. In here, I'm going to check if state is to-dos loaded. Already, if the to-dos is loaded, that's when this event can be able to fire or work with. So currently right now, state is actually to-dos loaded and stuff. I'm going to say final updated to-dos. Find a state where to-dos is okay. Basically, go ahead and go through our to-dos that we currently have, and where to-dos, which is a to-do.id, is not equals to event.id. Basically, this is a filter function to filter all the to-dos that are not equals to this particular to-dos that we currently have right in here. And once that is filtered, we want to be able to call I want to say to-do yield to-dos loaded and update to do. So that's one stuff we also want to do, but we don't want to do yield. We want to emit to-dos loaded. So we have to emit this event back to the UI. And next we want to await to save a to-do. In this case, we are not trying to save a to-do. I'm trying to delete. That should be delete. Yeah. Not save, delete to-do. We need to create this function, this private function, right underneath here, like the others we have been creating so far. Is actually a future. It's called delete to do, and it requires a to do to be passed to it. Once to do is passed to it, it is going to return to do repository dot delete. And unfortunately, it doesn't have, we don't have delete function in our to do's repository, but we need to add that. Don't be afraid, we just need to add that, and we can just continue doing whatever we want to do. So right in here, come on, that should be, yeah, inside our repository folder DB. So no, before we do that, so this is our abstract class, which we call to do's repository. It has other functions we are currently adding and extending and all those stuff. So basically, next how we're going to do is so we have save to do's, update to do's. At the top here, we need to add the second one, which is future delete to do. And if you want to delete to do, so this is what we need to do. We are going to say this should have a parameter called to do. And also, if we are deleting to do, we also need to unlink it. So let's say Isar DB. So Isar DB is the database we are using. We want a way to actually do our deleting and all those stuff. So let's see how we can achieve that. So we have create, update, and delete. Okay, nice. So to delete should be done. Okay, this is how to delete. So I'm gonna say await Isar.delete, also to delete that particular item from our database. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, also have a delete all. So okay, nice. I think we don't have any other stuff to do to check, except we have to actually check the links. So whenever we are linking databases, products, because we are linking stuff, so I want to see how we can actually delete a linked data. So that's actually why it's always good to read the documentation. So you have to read the documentation to understand what they're trying to do, and which is what we're doing here. And without understanding what the documentation is, the documentation is a way towards understanding the package or API or stuff you're trying to do, but learning programming languages, see how things works before using it. So we have save. So it only shows us how to save a link, not how to delete a linked item. Looks like when we delete, it's going to unlink the items. I think so. I'm not too sure about that, but we're gonna see how that works. But let's start with the deleting one first. So delete. Looks like is going to have just update to do, and we're passing it to do to it. We go ahead and save this. Also, I'll go ahead and say save. Now this we need us to update this in other parts of the app that needs it. We start with the web client, because web client is implementing our abstract class called to do repository, so it needs to actually conform to the actual functions and other stuff and parameters that the abstract class kind of like laid out that every shadow that's going to implement it or extend it needs to have. So it has to conform to that. So here we go. Currently right now I'm leaving these functions to be like this because I'm not going to implement, we are not going to implement the web version right away, because basically what the web client means that if we are saving our to-dos inside a web database, let's say our database is hosted on AWS or in our own server somewhere, because currently right now our database is hosted on my own system, so on the local machine the user is using, so there's no need to implement these web clients at the moment, but we are going to do this later on, so just leave it this way. And next is the repository that, okay, before I do the repository, let's go to key value store. We still need to implement the key value store also, but for now we're just going to leave all this the way it is at the moment until we figure out other path that's important. This require, okay, to do storage, which is this section, or even before we do that, we should actually work on this section. I should conform to this, and once this is called daily future daily to do, a to do is passed to it, we are going to return. So this one needs to be implemented immediately, so I'm going to say return await, and this should be async. So using await, you need to mark your functions to be asynchronous in Flutter to be, for you to be able to use await and all the stuff. So I'm going to say return await db storage dot delete to do. I'm just going to pass in the to do that we need to delete, and there you go. And then inside our db storage, we can just start implementing our delete function, how it's going to work. But let's take a look at how we did the saving it to do and updating it to do. So this is what we did, the update to do's and save to do should be somewhere. Yeah, this is where we did the save to do, and we are linking stuff when saving it to do, which is somewhere here. Main list or add main list. Actually, let's check some stuff. Just this for chickens. To do's dot. Okay, I see. Let's implement this first. So let's go down to our delete to do. So for our delete to do, we are just going to do it the same way we actually did right in here, because this is passing it to do to us. When we are passing it to do, okay, we say filter id is equals to this, and also, so let's take a look. So I'm gonna say delete. I basically copy this function. Mark this to be asynchronous. I'm gonna say return and we need to pass in the Isar DB right here. here I'm saying Isar DB dot we are looking for to-dos entity. To-dos entity dot delete, and we need to pass in the ID of what we want to delete. In this case, the ID should be from to-do, right? To-do dot ID. Okay, we can actually got it from here. To-do dot ID dot ID. So that will help us to delete this. And once this is being called, and we need the success function. I definitely don't need the success function. There you go. Just go ahead and delete it, nothing else that we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Now we can actually use this inside our to-do block. So right in here, when we say delete to do, is expecting us to pass a single to do to it, not a bunch of to do items. So I'm gonna say event dot to do. There you go. Yeah, this should be starting from a small letter, and it's gonna throw some errors right here. We need to make this to start with small letter also. Right in here, I'm gonna say delete to do, and we need to pass in the to do that we want to delete right in there. And if you go ahead and format, save, there's no other errors that we're having. So let's go ahead and test this out. Take this for a test drive. So go ahead and restart, minimize our browser, and there we go. So once we actually drag this to the end, it should be able to delete our to do. So let's bring this up, our code. So this is the code we are looking at right in there. So let's try this. So I'm going to hold, drag to the end. So a dismissible, dismissed which is still part of the tree. Make sure to implement undismissed handler and to immediately remove the dismissible widget from the application once that handler has fired. Okay. Undismissed function, undismissed. So this is what we are calling, and we are saying to do's block dot add. That's strange. It's actually been deleted, yeah, but we are receiving an error. Okay, let's see how to fix the issue we're having right now. This has a key. We are able to delete this during the delete function that we currently have here to do delete. Right in here, when delete is being fired, we call update to do, and okay, called update delete to do. We pass in the delete the to do that we want to delete. We are saying await underscore delete to do. And right in here, I'm saying final updated to do's is equals to state as to do's loaded to do's dot where to do dot id is not equals to event to do dot id, okay, which is correct. So just get us that particular list and then emit to do's loaded and passing in the updated to do's to actually emit it within our app. And then we are calling, next stuff we did was basically to call await delete to delete that particular to do that we want to delete. Which should work. So I don't see any other reason why we should be having the error that we're currently having right now. So let's delete this. Still got the same error. Okay, that particular to do is actually deleted. The last one we deleted right now, it was deleted, but still having the same error. So let's delete this. Second one is actually deleted, still end up with the same error. So let's try another one right in here. So I'm gonna say try to remove this from the screen so nothing happened. Say that the index is 0. Okay, try doing the same right in here. Say that the index is 5. Okay, if you try and delete this again, says that the index is 1, and if you wait a second, if you try, okay, let's delete this, the index is 2. Let's check the index of this. Delete this. The index is 3. Instead of passing the index, I think that's the issue that we are having. The dismissible key is going to use the to-dos index with the ID of that particular to-dos. I think that's much better than just using the index of the particular to-do itself. So I'm going to say index dot ID as the key. This is expecting a string, and this is an integer dot toString, convert it to an int string, and I'm going to use the same for our custom to-dos key in that scenario. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. Try restarting our app. Let's try this again. So I'm going to delete this, and that worked. So, okay, so that's much better, and I'm going to explain why this is working and why it didn't work previously. You can actually see, keep on deleting. There you go. But the issue is that we are deleting this, but this is not updating. So this should be updating as we keep on deleting the to-dos. It should kind of keep on telling us, so this is updated, this is deleted, or something like that. Because if you go ahead and try this, if you go ahead and try restarting our app, now you see that this is updated to say that it has 25 to-dos within this particular list, but it should be updating this as we are actually deleting whatever we are doing here. We need to fix that too, but let's explain why this is happening right now, or why this is working. That's because if you take a look, previously we are using the index, the current index here as the key to this particular dismissible widget, and once you actually remove this particular widget right here, the next one becomes index 0. So that means this is index 0 and we want to delete index 0. But after you deleted index 0, there's another item with another index 0. So that means this is not confused with which one is actually deleted and which one is not deleted. So thereby telling us that the widget that we deleted is still in the widget tree, which is actually true, because there's an item of the same type that has index 0, that has a key of 0, which should be the previous one that was deleted, but it still sees it inside the widget tree. So that's why it was showing the previous errors that we are seeing. But yeah, in this case right now it's actually working and we're able to sort that out. Next stuff we need to sort out is the being able to update this at the same time. We could do that right in here, because when we are updating it to do, we did a similar stuff whereby we can actually say filter to do to update, and okay, not this. That should be when we are saving our to do. Yeah, when we are saving our to do, we get a to do we want to save, and we could actually say to do dot find main list or to do's dot delete, and then you can just say main list dot to do's dot save to update that particular list that something happened. If we have to do this, that means we need to actually let's give this a try and see how this works first. Then we can actually figure out a way to reuse it. I'm gonna paste this code right here, go back and copy the last one that we have right in here. Just copy that over and then paste that somewhere right down below. Yeah, so just paste that right here, and then we can just go ahead and start doing our changes. So basically we have the main list, Isar DB the to-do list, or filter where name is equals to home. Just hard coding this for the moment, just for testing purposes. I'm going to say delete dot remove. This needs us to pass in a full object that we want to remove. Remove where, okay, I think we can just use remove where, yeah, to make sense. Remove where element dot id is equals to let's say element.id is equals to, this is gonna be interesting right now. We need to figure out the current ID of one of these to-dos that we have to be able to get this to work. So let's open up our database, Isar DB database. There you go. I'm gonna copy the link to our database localhost. That helps us to visualize what we are doing. I'm gonna open a new window right in here. Basically need to minimize this a bit. Yeah, we just need to minimize it a bit. Yeah, not too much right there. And I'm gonna paste the code we just copied. Within it, we need to, okay, how many to-dos entity we have is 46. We see, okay, this has an ID of 1, new to-do here. So which one is the dark? Okay, we have to figure out the dark to-do is ID. The ID should be 18. So dark, because this is the dark, so it has an ID of 18. So that's cool. I would say remove where ID is equals to 18. Just hard coding this at the moment. And just main list dot to do's. List dot to do's dot save to save that particular to do. And if you go ahead and save this, and let's take this for a test drive, and I'm saying that we want to delete this at the moment, so we are trying to get this to actually update itself. So if I go ahead and say this delete, we should definitely have this function calling itself. And this is index 19, so I would say this ID should be 19. If this is 19, I want to be able to list print. So let's print out the particular all the to-dos that we just right in here inside this particular list at the moment. Just trying to check some stuff out to make sure we are actually on the right track. So I'm going to say this main list, the remove, main list of remove should actually remove the one we want to remove, and once that is removed, I will say main list dot to do's, just use an optional call to call that dot, I will actually index, not index, just see the whole remaining to do's to make sure this worked. That's the whole reason of this. I'm going to go ahead and restart our app once we got that restarted. So let's go ahead and try this again. So let's remove this because this is index 19. I already counted it, I know. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. We are expecting to see some code console logged inside our DB. So it says Isar links. Okay, it's actually being returned. So it's called Isar links. With all the to-dos that is added, ID 20, which is this pen. Okay, that worked. ID is 20 and all those stuff. Looks like it's working. Yeah, that worked. Next is people, but the issue is that this is still not updating. If you go ahead and try this again, also the list is being removed, but still this is not updating to what we want. So because I remember for us to get that to update, we need to actually be able to update the list also, because this is listening to list and all those stuff. We have to be able to do some stuff like creating a new list for this to be able to update. Okay, looks like I've already seen how we can actually achieve that. So we can actually achieve that by saying I will just change this. So this is actually the one with, okay, people is the one with ID of 21. So just had to code this 21 here, and next I'll just paste this code so we can actually take a look and see what we need to copy. I'll just copy this to end because we already have main list or to-dos or save, so we want to be able to update the main list before saving it. So I'll just delete this again, I don't need it anymore. So once we have that, we just do this at the top, main list dot put put main list right in here, but we need to be able to remove -1. So this should be -1 to reduce the total list it has by using -1. And if you save that and then go ahead and restart our app to see if this is going to work. I believe it's going to work right now. And if you go ahead, try to remove people. Before we actually go ahead and remove this, I'm gonna bring this up, then try removing. Looks like it's actually been updated. Yeah, it's updating, and we can actually try this again. So if you try to do this, yeah, you can actually see this is now updating to 20. Or if you try removing again, see it says it's 19. Okay, that's the functionality we are looking for. The more you remove, the more it updates. -1, 17. If you go ahead and restart the app, it's still gonna tell us that the remaining list is 17. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete some code that we don't have right in here. Go ahead and save. Now we need to do some updates. So there are some updates we need to do. That's the first one. Is basically we need to pass in a particular to do a list that a particular list that we basically want to update, not this hard-coded list right here, because this doesn't make any sense. So what we're gonna do is basically go ahead and say that our main list, which is right here, this should also have another property called to-do list. Yeah, this, copy this in. There you go. So it requires us to make some changes to so many places, starting from here. Come on, there you go. Next being right in here. There you go. So let's save this. Let's see what else we are going to actually make some changes to. Repository. Okay, yeah, do the same right here. Save. So this is going to require us to pass a list to it. Save. And last but not the least is right in here. We need to get access to a to-do list. Same way we're actually doing update to do, we're getting access to a to-do list and other stuff. so I'm gonna say over here, before we do any stuff, I'm just gonna try to see that if we can log out log list dot id dot toString. What's this gonna be? There you go. So one more place we need to change is basically this section right here. Just need to pass in list in there, and it's gonna throw some errors right here that is also requesting us to pass a list also, but we don't have access to any list. That means that our delete to do events should have two parameters, one for a list and one for a to do that we want to delete, and one for the list that to do belongs to. So I'm gonna say list this dot list. So I'm gonna say delete to do. To do is this. Okay, yeah. Save. That's what we need. I think so. I saved that in our main view. We also need to pass in a list also right in here. But how do we get access to the current selected to-do list that the user is currently using? We get access to the active, so this active to-do list. Okay, that makes sense. That's better. Pass it in here. That works. And next, whenever this is called, that it will be called also. I'm gonna say event dot list, and this whole stuff is actually fixed. Okay, what else are we missing? I don't think there's any other stuff we're missing, so we just need to restart our app, head over to the dev console that we currently have right in here, and within our dev console I'm gonna go straight to not right here, DB storage, yeah, and then let's try this out. So when we delete this one, we're expecting to get some console log here. That's gonna tell me that okay, ID of what I just deleted should be start to end 01. Okay, we missed it. I'm gonna have another log statement right at the top here. This is deleting. Okay, let's try deleting the second one. Okay, it says this is deleting, ID is 1. Okay, that's correct. Because we are expecting the ID to actually be 1, so that makes sense. And we could just remove our hard-coded value from here. I'm gonna say where ID equals to list dot ID, and that fixes it. And remove where element ID dot equals to elements that we're looking for is basically our to do entity, where our to do is equals to to-do dot id, because that's the same way we are passing the to-do id where we are trying when we are trying to save our to-do, or basically basically when we are trying to update our to-do, we are able to get the to-do and its id. So right now we already delete the item where the id is matching this particular id here. Okay, once we have those in order, I'm going to go ahead and say the save. Basically also decide to restart our app. Yeah, they can actually try this again. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this section. And now we have an issue. Error occurred somewhere right here. It says no shake operator used on a null value. Main list of filter where list dot id equals to okay, we had a bug right now. Let's check this out. Okay, this is deleting, and what index is this actually deleting on its own? Let's try this again. Okay, did it work? If there was an error, okay, looks like yeah, it worked. There's no error on this case. Can actually try it again one more time, and I also look at this number to make sure that this number is being updated. I will say this, delete. Yeah, this has been updated, and you can actually find here that we are not having any errors in our console log. So that means this is actually working. I'm going to show you a way that this is going to fail again. It's going to fail this time. If I go ahead and restart this and then try and tap on this right here, and without tapping on this, I will not tap on it, and try to delete this. So it's going to show an error to us, saying us that it doesn't know what ID of the basically it's going to tell us that this is null, because it doesn't know where ID that we are passing in here belongs to. That's because whenever we started our app, or whenever our app starts, we are passing on a hard-coded to-dos to it, which be from here, I think somewhere right here. We are passing a hard-coded to-do. Let me see. Okay, yeah, somewhere right here, I'm saying to do this dot name is equals to this. I could actually do the same by saying dot id should be equals to 1, and if you try this, I think this is much better. We won't be having the errors we are currently having right now. So if I go ahead and try deleting this, so you see that it works without any errors or any bug or stuff like that. So if you go ahead and try again, restart, so we restart this one more time, just delete whatever we have here, try to delete this, okay, it's still telling us that this is empty. Thought we actually fixed it by hard coding the ID of the to-do to be 1. Okay, it's telling us that null shake operator is used on a null value. That means this didn't fix it, and we have to figure out another way to fix it. I have another way to fix it in my head. We can actually try that out. We could say that if this ID, if the ID is not a variable, or if the ID does not exist, you can't use null shake on something that is not going to be null, but you can try to do if ID is not equals to null, but still it's not gonna work because you can't use null shake on something that's not going to be null. Also, if it's not equals to null, or say if it's equals to null, if that's true, and this can never be null, this is actually an int that can't be null. Or you can actually do something like this. I would say constant list ID, and I would say that should be equals to list dot name. If the name is equals to home, this for temporary, you can actually figure out other ways to do this. If it's equals to home, if that's true, go ahead and pass the ID to be 1. So this should be int. Go ahead and pass the ID to be 1. Else, go ahead and pass the ID to be list dot ID. There you go. And we could just use this right in here as the ID. I think this should fix our issues. Hopefully it does. And we could just restart our app to try that out. Hopefully this works. And okay, let's try this. It did work, but let's make sure that that's actually working the way we expect it to without failing, because the last time we did it, it worked, and we tried it again, it didn't. So let's go ahead and delete this. And it worked again without any errors being thrown at us. That's because the reason why I'm doing that is because I already know that this index will always be 1 and this index will always be 2, because we are the one hard coding this particular two to-dos to the users. Any user that is going to be using, whenever the app is being opened up for the first time, you are always going to get 2 lists, which is the home list and to-do list. And because I'm hard coding it, whenever the app is open for the first time or anywhere, even if you delete the app, open it again, it always contains these 2 lists. Then the rest of the list is the one you are going to add by yourself, so you can never delete these 2. So I already know that this will always be 1 and this will always be 2, and the rest of the list, I don't know, there are IDs or numbers or something like that, so we can't do that yet. So that's why this is actually working. If not, this will not work, and this will actually break. The funny thing is that this will actually break if the user goes in here and add another list that has this name. So if that's true, that means whenever the list name is always home, is always going to say this is the list that we're trying to delete from, and that's not going to work for the other list that has that particular name. So that's one failure or one bad side of this, or what we're trying to do here to solve the issue. Or we could say have another way to initialize the to-do that we want to create, the to-do list. Okay, I'm saying list dot id dot toString. And if I try to, okay, let's try this. Let's see if there's a way to modify our code to actually work much better than what it's doing right now. So let's say I delete this. I was going to say this is deleting this, and that's because our to-do list doesn't have an ID. That's because this to-do currently does not have an ID because we are hard coding it at the moment. And if you go ahead and tap on this and tap on it again, now if you go ahead and delete any stuff, the ID is not going to be this, but the ID is going to be 1 at the right now. So if you go ahead and delete this again, you can actually find that the ID is now 1 instead of minus something something something. So that's the issue that we are having. We have to figure out how to better do this without kind of like having that particular ID that doesn't make any sense. And I could say, okay, we have to do this right here and has an ID and also has a string name that could be optional. ID type of ID is equals to int. I don't want to make this to be optional, so and whenever the user is trying to create list blocks, these are list block, to-do list, I'll just leave it this way at the moment until we can just come up with something better to be able to fix in there, because right now you can actually get hard coding name which is working right here, but let's say we have okay. Let's leave this at the moment the way it is right now until we can actually figure out what better ways to actually fix it. But we can actually another way we can actually fix this, but we're not going to try it right now because I'm not I don't kind of like that particular idea, is that we could just do something like restrict the user from kind of like creating a list that has the same name. So the user cannot create a list that has this particular name, so we can restrict them from creating a list that has a home and today. In that way we don't need to actually kind of like trying to fix this or any other stuff, and that will be fixed on its own, so we won't have that issue. And I think there's another way to do that. One way to actually do that is that whenever the user is trying to save a list, right in here, so let's go to the section where the user can actually save a list. That's inside our sidebar. Within our sidebar, so within our sidebar, that's right in here, and whenever the user taps on custom list input to create a list or something like that. That should be set a custom list input. When they tap on okay, add a list, and go ahead and create a list and all the stuff. Custom drop down. I see. Okay, test input. To a test input when the user tried. Okay, add a list, icon, color, emoji, and we kind of like hit this point where we say list blocks dot add. We can actually throw an error right in here. We could do this by saying if list dot name is equals to the special name home. So if list is equals to home, go ahead and throw an error from snackbar nope, that's not what I'm trying to get in here, but fix that out. So right in here else, go ahead and add a list, but if it's the same name, I want to show the user an error message using flutter snackbar. So snackbar basically kind of that shows an error within the app. Snackbar flutter should be within flutter documentation, display snackbar. Okay, yeah, just copy that out, and if this is equals to home or list.name is equals to today, so these two names is actually kind of restricted names. Is nobody else can really create a to-do list with these same two names. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to restrict the user from creating a new list that has that two names, a home or to do within it. So if the list name is equals to this and this, tell the user that hey, you can't use the same name. Hello, I should say, yeah, what did I just tap? Just say yeah, the name, so just tell them the name they use, the name which is basically in this case, in our own case, is the list dot name is restricted. Yeah, I think I got that right. So you don't need to make this to be constant, just make it to be final, and if that's final, and then we could just say scaffold messenger dot. Go ahead and fire up when something that happens. And if you want to test that out, you can actually see that in action right away. So go ahead and create a list that has a name home. If you try to say enter, you see you receive the message, yeah, the name home is restricted. If you go ahead and try to create another one that has today within it as a name, you hit the enter key, you're gonna have, yeah, the name today is restricted. So you can't use these two names to create your list. So we just kind of like restrict you from doing that, and that will just fix the error that we are trying to have. In that case, this is valid. The code that we currently have here in the repository, this code is valid, so you can just keep using it. And yeah, you just keep using this two code, knowing fully whether our home, whatever list that has a home at its name, is going to be number one. So yeah, what else are we missing? I don't think there's any other stuff we are missing right here. Yeah, I'll just we're able to delete a list and have this update once a list has been deleted from its own list, which is basically deleting this, and that's updating to 8, deleting this and have that updating to 7. The same with home. If you go ahead and delete this, you can actually have that update to 6. The same with personal. If you delete this, it's going to update to 0. And the same with color. So if you kind of like delete it, it's still going to update with to 0. So yeah, that's basically the functionality we added so far. The next one I want to add is we want to be able to, when you tap on this, you want to be able to edit the names of this particular list. Let's say you created this list to have the name office work, but later on down the line you just want the name to change from office work to office fun or office hangout or whatever you think you want to change it to. You should be able to change the name of the list. So that's why we added this pop-up right in here, but we are going to work on that right away right now. And whenever I tap on any other list, the pop-up goes out. Double tap, the pop-up shows out, but you can't see it clearly because I just added it as a test, but we're going to fully implement it right away. So let's go ahead and do that. So right here within our app, that should be somewhere within our sidebar, but inside our sidebar it should be within custom button, I think. Yeah, I think it's inside custom button. So let's go inside custom button. Within custom button we have a function called so we have this function called get current position that could actually help us to build, okay, yeah, so when someone double taps, it helps us to build a custom drop down right in here by passing a position and the position X and position Y. That's why if you tap on this, you see the drop down starts from this end, and if you tap on this, the drop down starts from here. So that's working. Depending on where you tap, it kind of like gets the current position of that list and then displays underneath it. So that's actually a good functionality that we're looking towards too, and that's working fine. And let's go ahead and fully implement it like I said. So let's look for our drop down within our app. It should be somewhere right in here. I need to delete this. I don't need this. We don't need that. Right in here we are just hard coding a test at the moment, which is the test you guys are seeing right here. So the here now for test is the test you guys are seeing right here. So I'm gonna fully implement it. We don't want just a test, we want to be able to also show you guys kind of like edit button, delete buttons, and all those stuff. I think hello, what's up? Q-Test from Twitch chat. How you doing? So yeah, that's basically it so far. And let's see if I'm missing any stuff. Nope, I don't think so. Okay, so we have the test that says hello test, and I could just go ahead and add a button. So we want to add kind of like a delete button and an icon side by side. How do I shift that? I'm going to use a row widget. Within our row widget, it's going to have a children property. Within the children property, it's going to have an icon. There you go. And within icon, is going to be an ionic icon dot semicolon. Is it actually called semicolon? We can actually find something else to do, add there. What about scan icon in there for now? This should be constant. Okay, no, not. Let me move it from here, add it in here, and then this needs it. So the reason why we are having all the constant variables suggested to us, or making us to use the constant variables, because we are using flutter latest version, and we are using these. Come on, think. oh my god, why did I actually forget stuff like that? The code analysis in Flutter that kind of enforces you to use constant variables. When things are not going to change within your code base, you have to add a constant to it, kind of like the code and analysis and stuff like that kind of enforces us to do that. That should be somewhere. Yeah, analysis option .yaml. Yeah, kind of enforces us to use the constant variable on some stuff that's not going to change. In this case, this array of widget is not going to change, so you have to make it to be a constant. And in this case, the text right in here is not going to change. You need to make it constant. And if you go ahead and try to add something that's going to change right in here, it's not going to work again. So let's see if you can actually have a way to add a code. Let's say position x dot to toString. So it's gonna see this is going to throw an error. Basically, the error is telling us that it doesn't need a constant at the back because this is always going to change. And let's revert back. So yeah, revert back. So we have a chat. So chat from Twitch. Where are you streaming from? Where you stream? You mean the country I'm streaming from or project I'm streaming on? If it's the country I'm streaming from, UAE, yeah, United Arab Emirates, not USA. But if you mean the code, the project I'm streaming on basically on Flutter, yeah. And we are trying to just build random project. In this case, we're trying to build a desktop app and also a mobile app, which is a to-do app. We have been doing a lot for the past few days right now. Actually have so much we have done, whereby you can actually have a way to have this in different colors and different theme mode. So yeah. Okay, so right away, so we have an icon, and what else do we want to have? We want to have a test also, and we could just go ahead and add a comma right here. The test, I could actually say delete for now. Yeah, the delete could actually be the name of the test. If you go ahead and save this, open up, tap on any of this again. So you can actually see the icon and the text, but still this is actually not showing up properly the way we want. So we actually go ahead and fix more of that, and we could say once this shows up, okay, we are going to use a backdropper filter. What if we change the background color to something visible? You can actually see that showing properly. We can actually change the background color to black. I don't know if that's going to fit in well, but let's try that. Change this to black color. And if you tap on this, double tap right in here. Yeah, so this is what it looks like on a dark background, but I don't know if that's much better. And if you take a look again, you can actually see that this is way from the top where it's supposed to be showing up. So we have to move it up to this point to fix that. That's basically from the position widget that we're using right in here. So I'm going to say the position should be from the parent top with 10 pixels added to it. So if you save this, it should be much better right now. If you go ahead, double tap, okay, it's way at the top. Let's try something like 60 pixels. Just kind of like keep on trying some numbers so to actually get to stuff you want it to be at. I kind of find that much better to do than just yeah. I just find it much better to do than any other way. Just keep on trying different numbers so to get what you want. Okay, I think this is much better. Maybe you can actually move it a little up a bit. Yeah, somewhere to fill up these spaces right there, and that should be using 50 pixels. So we are removing 10 pixels from the previous 60 pixels that we have, hoping that kind of like gets us to the point we want it to be. Okay, that's better. And if you go ahead and tap on this, yeah, kind of like closes that gap that we are seeing previously. And I don't think that the black background we are using is good. Then I think we can actually switch back to the white background that we're using. So that's still up to this point. We just need to say we want this to be white, and also want this to be white. If you go ahead and save, maybe set this to 6 and set this to 3, because we are if we leave it this way, what we are trying to create is what we call graphomorphic design, but I don't think that actually looks good. The graphomorphic design looks good, so we could just go ahead and revert back to the white color. Yep. I think this is much better. Yeah, the white color still kind of like gives all that graphomorphic feel. I don't know if you guys agrees with me, but I think it's kind of still gives off the graphomorphic feel that shows that it looks like a graphomorphic design or something like that. So we have this delete and its icon, but this is not the icon we want for delete. Delete icon should be different, not something like that. So we can actually go ahead and look into ionic icons. Let's see some icons we can actually use here. So let's try delete. Delete has this trash can icon, so I think we can actually use trash can icon better than any other stuff. And if we have to use trash can icon, that means we have to change the icon we have here to be a trash can underscore outline. And I believe if you save this, go ahead, tap, double tap, yeah, you see this change to trash can icon, and then have the delete text by the side. Next we're going to add edit. So the next one we're going to add is edit. So have this. Doing this will actually make us to keep on repeating the same code over and over again. Let's say we want to add 4 functions or button in here. That means we have to repeat this code 4 times, but that's a better way to do this. I could just move this to a separate function. Just tap on it, just extract widget, then extract it as let's call this edit buttons, maybe edit button. Yeah, so it's going to extract this as a separate widget on its own, and then there you go, it becomes a stateless widget on its own with some kind of stuff like that. So now we can actually have a way to pass in a dynamic title name and then a dynamic icon in between also. Yeah, I think that does actually make more sense. So I'm going to say final string. Guys, if you can actually if you guys think there's stuff we actually need to add, just let me know on the chat. I'll just do that, or just drop me some questions on the chat. I just need to answer your questions. I want to answer your questions, guys. Just drop me some questions on the chat. Let's kind of keep it lively and entertaining. So I said final string, so a final string of title should be title, right? Yeah, title, and we have final. Next should be icon data, and I just give it the name icon, nothing much. Just add this as a construct inside the constructor right here, and both of them is required. And now you could just replace whatever we have here with icon data, with just icon, and that's icon data, right? Try making the argument a valid constant variable. Okay, yeah, delete this. Next is the title, just passing the title, and this too is fixed. Now whatever this is being called, so you just have an icon, passing the icon. Next has a title property, you could pass in a title to be delete, and now you could just reuse it many other places without repeating a bunch of code. Yeah, much better, much better, much better. We could actually say, okay, we have a delete icon, we should also have a edit icon or edit button also right in here. If we do that, so that means edit button should have, so okay, I'm trying to figure out the icon we can actually use for the edit button. Nothing is kind of like popping up in my head, or we could just search here. So let's say edit. What icon should be better for edit? Okay, found one. So it said create. No, create is not the same as edit, or we could actually use it. Let's try another one saying change. Okay, there's nothing like change. I don't know, we can just keep the edit one. I think it's much better. Just keep the edit. Okay, let's see. Yeah, create an underline, outline. Next, so we have edit, we have delete. We should have another one to say copy or duplicate, to duplicate some stuff. Copy, duplicate. So this could actually say duplicate right here. So basically, when you tap on duplicate, it should be able to duplicate the list for us. Duplicate, yeah. Duplicate. Next, we can actually say that the next should be maybe have a way to get you the whole to-dos in that list in a PDF form, or you can be able to share with someone else all the to-dos you have in your list or something like that. So I could have a way to say share. Share. There you go. You can actually have a way to share the to-dos. All this functionality, we are still going to implement it later on. Yeah, so you need to implement them. Share. You can share them, you can download. Next one, but not the list. I think for now should be a way to download all the lists, that particular list to do's. So this should be saying something like download. Download outline. There you go. And then format, let's go. Fix this. So we have delete, edit, download, whatever is in here. So and if you tap on this, now you can actually see the list of the whole edit buttons and all those stuff showing up right in here. And at the moment this is too big, so the width of this drop down is quite big, so we need to fix it. First I will need to say that the width, the max width should be somewhere around 200. Yeah, that will actually make it much smaller. And yeah, I think that's much smaller right away, right now. Let's actually see, visualize that much better. Let's say this is black, and if this is black, yeah, it must visualized right now. And we could say, okay, we need to move it towards to the left hand side, no, right hand side a bit. And that means I have to increment the position X more. I would say this should be by 8. Move away from the left, and kind of like almost there. Maybe a bit more, let's say somewhere around 9, kind of stuff like that. Maybe 1, 2. Yeah, I think that's much better. So kind of move it all the way to this point. Then I need to remove this text right there at the top. We need to give a spacing to any of these widgets right in here. So every single one of them should have a spacing. So that means you have to wrap the row widget with a padding. You could just say nope, padding only. We just target the top and the bottom, or just target the bottom, and just say it should be around 10. Yeah, the padding should be around 10. I think that works. Yeah. You can actually see that being added immediately. See that in action. Go ahead and tap this. Yeah, see the delete, edit, duplicate, delete. So you can actually visualize this as a ways to maybe delete that particular list, and when you kind of like tap on delete, you just delete the list and everything within it. And you have the edit, duplicate. How many times do we have edit, delete here? Okay, let's fix this. Should be delete, edit, duplicate, share. So this should allow us to share. Next should be download. And there you go, share, duplicate, edit, delete. And I think this is much better. The color we gave to it here is good. Do you guys think so? I think it's good. Except you can actually make the colors of this to be white, the text color or something like that to be white. Let's see if that's going to work much better. Okay, let's try giving this a style and changing the colors, something like that. Text style, and let's change the color blocking to something like colors white. Not good. I think that's worst. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Just keep it at black. I think that's much better. And the background color, we could actually try changing it from black to white, but I prefer this color. I think the background is much better this way. The white background doesn't look good compared to what we have. Yeah, this is what it looks like in a white background. Let's see that working. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, let's start with one. Let's start with edit. So let's say when we want to, and also it has to be good that we don't want this to be deletable, so we don't want to delete home and today, so both of them should not be deletable. So to fix that, we will have to make it not deletable. So within our code, I will say for that, for those buttons, because we call them buttons, custom buttons, yeah, right in here, and I'm gonna say this should not be deletable. So I'm gonna have a final keyword that says boolean is can delete. And we could just use that right in here. If is can delete is true, let's say widget dot is can delete. If it's true, go ahead and delete. Else, pass it in null to the function. That means nothing should be there because this is expecting a function and also a null at the same time. Now it needs us to use it right somewhere. So I've button custom is can delete. Is can delete should be false, so meaning that this is not deletable, you can delete it. So that means the drop down will not also show on it. And next other place to actually add it should be sidebar. Yeah, within our sidebar is can delete. Depends if I index is equals to 0 or any other stuff. So I'm gonna say if index is equals to 0 or I is equals to 0. If that is true, go ahead and set this to be false, else set this to be true. Nope, else set this to be true. So if it's equals to 0 and I is equals to 1, so I have 0 and 1 in there, so do not delete. You can delete it. So that means the drop down will not even actually work on those ones also. So let's try them out. So this double tapping will not work, double tapping here will also not work. Likewise only here, so double tapping we only work here. So yeah, and double tapping we only work here. There you go. So for now, this is how the drop down list is working. We could actually work on showing the edit, yeah, on the edit side, whereby if you tap on edit, you could be able to edit the that particular list and all those stuff. So let's work on that. I'm thinking of what other ways we could achieve what we're trying to do. Okay, that will require us to have a way to say that, okay, edit button has been tapped within the drop down, and that means this should change from this to editable text field. We go to definition. That means the text within it should change to editable text field. This text right here. So I have the widget.title. So that's what we are trying to change to. Let's see how we could fix this issue. For now, let's go ahead and copy what we just used right in here. So I'm thinking of using a test form field in there, and that's going to work if we use a test form field in there. But do we also allow the user to change the color of that particular list if they want to? That's what I'm thinking. Also, maybe you can actually allow them to change the color or the icon or whatever they want to change it to. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of. Or we could just allow them to change the text. Looks like we still needs to think on that. Which one should be better? Why we cannot still thinking on that? Maybe you can actually work on the delete part. Maybe, yeah, I think that should work. So let's go ahead and work on deleting a list for now. So let's go ahead and work on that. So I still need to think about how the edit is going to work. So I can't think of anything right now. So for us to delete a list, we should be able to use our repository to delete a list. To delete a list, we have list block that manages all the lists right here. It has an event called delete to do list, and you have to pass it to do this to delete. In our own case, once that event is kind of fired, we need to have a way to actually delete it. So I'm going to say what okay, let's continue. I'm gonna go below in here, right down below here. Just needs to say future delete to do list. Yeah, it should be delete to do list, nothing more. Delete to do list. You need to pass in a to-do list. There you go, save that. I actually don't know how I got to open this up. not even trying to close up. So why is, come on. Okay, back to what we are doing. So we got this added. We need to implement it also at other places that needs it. So in here we need to implement it right in here. Just trying to be fast on this section. Just delete this, and there you go. Next stuff you can actually do is to delete this one also. Not delete, what I'm even trying to say, add it right in here, not delete. And next is this section, add it in here. And we need to implement it for this section, and I'm gonna say return await, mark this to be asynchronous, return await db storage dot delete to do list. We pass in the list that we want to delete. That's cool. And then so I have to cap this off, like semicolon it to close. Next is db storage. We need to implement it right in here. Because we want to delete a list, I always say right in here to delete a list. This is what we need to do, the list deleting, and that should be somewhere. I'm just trying to copy a code that we used previously for deleting stuff. Okay, delete it to do. Okay, could just utilize the same code, just do some 1 or 2 changes. So first of all, when we want a list to be deleted, we also want to delete the to-dos within it, so that will make sense. Mark this to be asynchronous. So I'll wait db list.id, we don't need this anymore because we know that home and today cannot be deleted. So list.id. So we have list.id right here. Find first where it exists, and then main list.remove everything. So we have to remove every to-dos that's in it. If you want to delete some stuff, I think there's better ways to actually do delete all with Isar DB. Let's check this out. Isar DB delete. So I'm trying to do a kind of like a bulk delivery, deleting, not delivery. I'm not doing a delivery right now. So bulk deleting, deleting so many stuff at the same time. Let's see, that's a better way to actually do it. Okay, I think I found one. One way to do that will be, first we are going to say to-dos dot remove, and again we are going to say run to-dos right in here to remove every other stuff. So this should be not in the total, so there's no need of doing this code because we don't need that. Basically we just want to delete all the child to dos within it. We don't want to leave it in our database, it doesn't make sense. Trying to figure out how to actually do that better. So I should say to do entity dot to delete to do with this ID. That's not it, but basically I'm going to say to do entity where for loop or basically say main list dot to do dot, so we have to loop through it. I could just use for each loop for each of them, and this should give us a way to okay, let's look at for each, see what that is going to do. So for each gives us access to the each to do within that list. Within here we could just go ahead and try doing this. So we're gonna check if the main list is not null. Main list, yeah, main list dot to do. Basically checking if the main list that we currently have, if it's not null, go ahead and do this. We don't need to use no stuff anymore here, but in this case we have to loop through the whole element, and I want to call this variable to delete every single one of them. So I'm going to say delete to do entity, which in this case should be our element .id. We're still going to see if this works. We're going to receive a bunch of errors, so wait for this to going to run first, finish up, then we're gonna call so we don't need this anymore because we're already doing it at the top. Basically after that I'm gonna call to do list dot put. I don't need any put again, so we just remove it. Main list dot save, we don't need it, so this last one should be to do list dot delete, come on, dot delete where list dot id. Oh no, okay, I found out the error. Yeah, that should be single notation dot notation for using the function and the method, or the method within the class or object we are trying to call, not dot notation, double dots. So there we go. So await Isar DB dot to do list, or the to do list delete the one that has this particular ID that I want to delete right in there. And next one should be, first of all, before calling this one, to actually delete every to-dos that's within this particular list right here. And once that is done, then we could go ahead and delete that particular list also. So let's test this out and see if this works without any errors or any other stuff. So let's go ahead and try that. So open our app, head over to list block events. So we have a delete to do list event right here already. Once this event is fired somewhere right here, so we have add to do list loaded events. Somewhere I'm gonna say on delete event is called, come on, that should be here. On delete event is called. When that is called, go ahead and fire a way to delete our to-dos. I'm gonna create a function right this below, and I'm gonna call this map delete to do list, map delete list, delete to do list to state. That's a function, and we are listening for event called delete to do list, and with our emitter right there, and this should be mapped right in here with our underscore, because it's private. The underscore means that the function is private or something like that. Once we cannot map those events, so I'm gonna say the next one will basically be to do list dot from list and other stuff. Basically not add. No, we're not add, we are trying to filter stuff. Because I like doing some, there you go, just copy that over. I don't need to think of how to create that, but just copy it over, do some changes. We already have a function that we used previously, so I have updated to-dos status to-dos list loaded. So this is the state we are trying to listen to do list loaded, and this will be to do list dot where to do, that's to do list dot id is not equals to event dot to do list dot id, and then pass it to be a list. That's all we need. Then go ahead and delete the first one version that we have here, and that's how to delete stuff locally from before we actually delete it from the database. After that is being called, next is called emit to do list, passing in the deleted or the new list. Next is also to call a way to delete it from our database. In this case, I'm going to create a function called delete to do list. It needs to be passed in. Okay, to do list needs to be passed into it. The function should be similar to what we have here, just few changes to it. The name first, just kind of like change the name first. Yeah, that's the first thing we need to change. And next, this shouldn't be save, this should be delete to do list, and we need to pass in a to do list to be deleted. And I think that's it. Is there any other place where I'm making a mistake? Okay, the next is basically right in here, event to do list, getter to do list is not defined for the type to do list. Yeah, there we go, that's fixed, nothing else to worry about. Next is basically we have to give this a try and see if this works or not. That brings us to this section right in here. I'm going to create a dummy list that we want to use for testing. I'm going to call this testing delete 1. Hit the enter key, that will be created. Oh no, so it says not shake operator using a null value. Something went wrong. So something happened. Okay, we're gonna look into this later, but kind of just get this to work first, then we can just look into the error that we just received. Come on, open up. Let's see. So we have to do entity. Probably to do this first. Probably this was causing the error right here. I need to delete this. Okay, I see this is null. This is null. Well, both of them should not be null at the same time. One should be null and not both of them. So we got to fix that error. So that's actually a bug within our code. So we delete that and the issue is fixed. So I'm gonna say testing delete one. Then we need to actually be able to select something before it actually works. So hit the enter key. You can actually see the list B and then immediately right here. Once that is added, so we need to use this for testing. So I'm going to double tap, and once you tap on delete, you should be able to delete this, but we haven't hooked up the function right away. So we have to do that within our sidebar, and inside our sidebar we have this custom btn. You have to go in there. It has so let's see. Okay, yeah, so right here, when this shows up, we should be able to delete any of these in our drop down. Tapping any of this in our drop down should be able to delete this. That means I have to go to our drop down location also, and within our drop down location we need a way for this to be deleted. We need access to the list block. So I'm gonna create one below here. I'll say final list block is equals to block provider block provider dot of context what type again? Come on. Okay, I got it. So this is basically what we are looking for, and we need that inside our show drop down. Yep, and we need to import this. Next, we need to be able to use this to delete a list that we basically want to delete. That should be somewhere here for this one of these buttons that we currently have. That means one of these buttons should have a function also called void callback, a function of type void callback, and should be, let's say, on tap. And wrap the padding widget, wrap with a gesture detector, because gesture detector is basically used for tap events, dictating tap events on flutter. Gesture detector, yeah, that's the spelling. And then we go to on tap function. We pass in the on-tab function we created. I think that should be a good one. Now all this is requesting that we actually have an on-tab to it. Not to have that, we need to make this optional if you don't want to have those issues. So now this is optional. Now every one of them will no longer have that red line on it except the place we want to add it, which is basically delete section. So I'm going to say on-tab where when this function is called, go ahead and delete a list for us. Yeah, needs us to add a constant in here since we are breaking the first constant rules right here by adding a function that is not going to be static. So you don't need to add a function to the parents anymore, the constant to the parents. So right in here I'm going to say when this is called list block dot add event, and this event is going to be delete to do list, and this needs a list to be passed into it also. So we need to get access to the list that we want to delete. We could solve that by saying in here maybe pass down required of tab to do list. That should be the type we want to pass down, and that should be to do list. Go ahead and save this. That means this should be passed down from somewhere right in here. Okay, looks like it doesn't make sense to pass it down so anymore, so I'll just remove it. We don't need to pass it down because that will need us to drill keep on passing down the functions or the variables down below, props drill or something like that. Since I don't want that to happen, because I can actually see that we have two layers so far that we need to pass down. If we pass to the button all the way from the custom to do's all the way to the buttons, for the buttons to the show custom drop down, that doesn't make any sense. One way you can actually do stuff without passing down the those properties that we need is that I could wrap this section or any of this with a builder. So I could wrap it with a builder, and the builder type is going to be block builder, and it's going to listen to do list block. Has to listen, the type should be list block that we have here, and the state is basically to do list state. Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is the one we actually needs to listen to. List style block, not list blocks. I think we actually need to change the names a bit, kind of like getting confusing, and should be used inside the drop down. Can actually think of better ways to actually go ahead and format and refactor our code much better. We have to listen to do to do tab event is to import both of these. Okay, we have it's called active. Yeah, in that case we'll be able to get access to the tab that has been selected. So in this case, that's the tab I'm going to pass in here to be deleted. So it's saying delete to-do list, so I'm going to pass the active. Okay, this is list impute block. Yeah, change this to list impute block. That's much better way to actually get this to work. Yeah, okay. These expects there you go. I think rename it to list block is much better way. And once this has been called from here, you can actually notice that this has been called by actually listening to any event that has been emitted right in here, somewhere right in here. You could actually say log, say delete is called. Yep. And if you go ahead and save, then debug console, bring that up a bit, restarts also. Then try to double tap on delete. So it says delete is called. Delete is called, but nothing happens. So that's we have an issue. So we actually have any way to actually detect that the delete function is called, but nothing actually is happening within our UI. That means we can actually and the list is actually showing up here, but nothing happened. So that means it didn't delete in our case. So if you tap on this again, delete. Okay, this worked this time around, but why didn't it work the previous time we actually tapped on it? So go ahead and restart. It still shows up. Okay, something is wrong. Shows up, and if you go ahead and tap on it, delete, it goes out. And okay, I think I found a place where we're having the issue. cannot perform this operation from within an active transaction. Okay, Isar error cannot perform this operation from within an active transaction. Okay, I think the issue is because of the multiple queries that we are trying to do at the same time in one transaction. So right in here, I guessed what the error might be about. Yeah, somewhere here. When we are saying write transaction, which should be one transaction at a time, but we end up trying to kind of like do a loop inside it. So that's why we are having the errors. So but I think there's a way to delete. See, come on. Kind of like came across this far back, but I can actually forgotten how to do multiple deletion from Isar DB at the same time. Should be. Delete. Okay, I see. So bad move for loop inside the transaction loop. So await Isar the right transaction. Let's see if I actually got this correct. So we have await return on Isar the right transaction by looping through the whole stuff we have here. Okay, and then completing this section. Okay, I see. And we want to be able to do the same stuff. In our own case, I'm going to comment this out like this. So you have one transaction right here and this. Next, you can actually have another one right here. I could say await. Let's give this a try again. Try this for another round. See what happens. Double tap. First select, double tap, then delete. Now we run into another problem. Cannot perform this transaction from within an active transaction. Okay. So if you comment the first one out, if we remove that, the second transaction should be able to run and return us the future event, either true or false if it's completed or it broke within along the way. You can actually see this didn't remove. So let's try this again, delete. And that second one, it worked because we kind of like removed the previous transaction, so there's only one transaction right now. So if you restart the app, you can actually see that it worked. So we have to find a way to be able to loop through. First of all, complete a transaction before doing the second transaction or something like that. Or we could actually try synchronous transactions and see if that works, because we are almost at the end of our stream for today. But let's see if we can use synchronous transaction, because there are two types of transactions we can actually use: synchronous and asynchronous. Let's see if we can have two synchronous transactions, and that means one has to finish before the other. If I'm to comment this out and try to say write transaction synchronous, also in this case I need to use write transaction synchronous also. No, I need to use no wait on that. And try to create another one. This should be any random stuff. Go ahead and add. Now it's been added. Tap on it, try to delete. Did it work or did it just broke? I know it broke. It didn't work. So it's saying write operation requires an explicit transaction. Yep, somewhere here. I know that's where this happened. Okay, looks like it worked. Let's try again. As I didn't actually receive any errors while running the second command again. So let's try this. Dummy to-dos list and change. Maybe use a color in this section. Save. Now we got one right there. Let's change this. Not changing. Delete this. There's an issue that we need to fix, so we kind of like experience the bug right now. So when you delete something, the drop down should actually close and not remain open, so we need to fix that also. Looks like this went well, nothing happened, no error. If you try and restart our app, there you go, you can actually see that it's been deleted and that worked fine. But what if we create a list and add something there? I'm gonna say dummy list, in this case trying to add some stuff within it. And okay, we added this. Let's add some stuff. Dummy 1, say dummy 2. Now we have 2 items within inside our list, and we want to be able to delete these items and is or we want to delete this list and is all items that we currently added. And let's see if that works without kind of showing us an error and all the stuff. So, and also we should be able to have that within our DB. Yeah, within our DB, our database, just copy the URL we currently have right in here, open it here, so for us to visualize what it looks inside. So this is our to-do entities, which is to-do list. I'm going to go to the last one, so dummy 2 and dummy 1. So we want to be able to remove these two once we delete this list. So tap on this, double tap, then delete. Did it work? Okay, let's find out if it worked or not. Still there is still dummy 1 and dummy 2, so probably it didn't work. So if you restart this, and you can actually see that it didn't work at all. So that's a bit strange. So let's try this again. I'm going to go ahead and try to delete. Okay, so we have an issue. Write operations require an explicit transaction, and there you go. Okay, we have repository, this and that, meaning that this didn't work. We have an error, so somewhere right here, yeah, somewhere right here we got an error. Trying to see how we could be able to do this. I think it would actually be faster if we are able to wait for one to actually finish before calling the second one and returning whatever the feature type is being returned to us. Whatever the feature is executes if it's silent, is true, washes are not notified about changes in the transaction, executes an asynchronous read write operations, and issue returns some stuff to us to let us know that this worked fine or it didn't work. Let's see if we can actually assign this to run1 is equals to this, and what is being returned right here. This returns a boolean if whether it's been deleted or not. This is not a write operation. If yeah, it's not a write operation, I guess. Maybe you can actually be able to get this to work if we go through this route right here. Okay, we still have our dummy list. Delete. Oh, come on. it did again, it did broke. Come on. So we're kind of like stuck right in here where we're trying to see how we can actually run multiple transactions at the same time, and it looks like we can't actually have that work. We can't run multiple transactions, we can only run one. Okay, what if we say, okay, for loop through this. When you are done, maybe wait, maybe go ahead and delete this. I'm pretty sure this might fail also. No, oh, come on. Okay, so we are still stuck here, trying to figure out how to get off on this issue. Currently right now haven't been able to do that. Synchronous and asynchronous transactions, trying to run a transaction loop that will basically go ahead and delete all this, which will work if we actually run one transaction per each time, but in this case we're trying to run two transactions at the same time, but it doesn't work. Looks like that's how the transaction works. You have to run one at a time and not multiple transactions. So we're gonna try one more time. Let's see if this is gonna work this time around. But this is actually different from what we are doing. Just trying to see if we can loop through this. Yeah, instead of write transactions, and in there synchronous for loop through this, and then contacts or put. In our own case, we are saying to do entities dot delete the elements with these IDs, which should definitely work. If we try and run the code right away, tap on this, double tap and delete. Okay, now we run this to the same problem again. With an active transactions, we can do this. I'm going to remove this if statement here. We don't need this since we already have one outside. Still trying to see if we can get this to work. Okay, we have these write transactions. Await loop through the to-dos that we currently have. Go ahead and delete each and every one of them until it's done with. Okay, still not have any answers to this. Looks like we're gonna be stopping here for today, guys, and I have to go ahead and look into this and see how we can actually be able to fix it to work. doesn't make sense to keep on spending much time on it. We already kind of like completed most of the stuff we needed to do today, and yeah, we actually were able to tick out some stuff. We're able to delete and edit a list, update and edit a to-do, which is we did. We are able to delete a list, but we are not able to delete the list items, yeah, and other stuff we actually did previous to this point, yeah. So hopefully by tomorrow I should be able to get ways to actually do this. Maybe kind of like do some research and try to test some stuff on my own, so we can actually be able to move forward tomorrow to some other stuff. Yeah, I think that's it, guys, today. Thank you guys for joining. Let me know what you guys think on the chat, and also reach out to me on the social media platforms, Instagram and any other places. Let me know what you want what you want to see next from our Flutter series. And I also do React Native and Swift UI. Yeah, Swift UI for iOS. I do that also. Yeah, but thank you guys for joining. See you guys next time tomorrow, and have a nice day, everyone.